With still no update on the planning permission, the council need to pull their fingers out. But today, we're installing a log burner. And that's because I harvested about 3 years worth of fuel from the garden a few months ago. If you're new here, this is a house we bought 40k below market value and plan on turning it into a one-off Mancunian palace.
Nice.
If you're enjoying this journey so far, don't forget to drop us a comment, like the video and subscribe. So, the first thing we need to do is rip out this old surround. Now, you're probably looking at this and thinking, Tom, why don't you make it an open fire? I can't unless I rebuild a brick chimney all the way up the outside of the building. This cast iron surround, I'm going to keep and reuse in the bedroom as a feature. But for now, we're going to take the gas fire out, which has already been disconnected by a friend of mine. We're going to take this surround off, see what we're left with, and then we will start to build a chimney breast. Now, there are two ways you can go about this. You can either fit the burner yourself and notify building control, who will inspect it and sign it off at your expense, or you can pay a HETAS registered installer to carry out the work, who is allowed to self-certify it and doesn't need to notify the council. So now the gas fire has been removed, we can see where the old chimney breast exit through the cavity of the house has been bricked up at the back, and the gas flue goes out. Now, my worry with this is there's technically no cavity, but it's a lot wider than what it should be. So what I'm going to do once we remove all... Sorry, dog's in the way. What I'm going to do once we've removed all the fire surround without damaging this, I'm going to re-brick that up. Stop it. Sit. Good girl right there. I'm going to re-brick all that up. I can't stop laughing. Sit. Hey, sit. So I'm going to re-brick the back up. Once that's gone off, I'll then put a bit of cement board over it. But yeah, let's get the surround out before this dog just goes mad. I have to wrap this. Yeah. Oh, state of the wallpaper behind it. Is it real wood? And watch them bricks don't fall. That bloody other thing's heavier. It's real, this. You just have to thank the previous installers for doing such a great job of bricklaying. These are just loose, but if anything, it's probably stopped me having to go out and buy some bricks to brick that up, and I'm hoping there is enough to probably do the job. But they're not even stuck. That's just the wallpaper that's gone blanky. So we'll probably use them to brick that up if we can. We'll take this canopy off, give it a good clean. You can see the breeze block where it's been smashed off, and we'll go from there and get the granite out. If you know me by now, you'll know I don't like waste, and it'd be a shame to throw this piece of granite away. So I'll keep it for a little project to have in mind for the garden, which we'll pick up later in the year. So now the fireplace is ripped out, we need to brick this up because this is potentially a fire hazard. If we don't, and the fire gets through the back, or there's an accident, the cavity could then set alight and it'll burn the house down. So we're going to brick this up with some breeze block, but we also need to add some insulation in because there is no thermal gap between the outside and the inside at the moment. I was going to try and brick this bit up, but I'm not too bothered. That's going to create a lot of work, and it's something that I can do from the outside afterwards. But with that said, we're probably just going to get the gable end rendered so it'll look quite smart when it's done. I'm just going to wet the bricks at the bottom so the mortar adheres to it. If I don't do that, mortar won't stick to dust. So we'll get that done and we'll start dropping the bricks in. We are going to have to chip a bit off them. If I had a still saw, I would cut the opening a bit bigger just so things would fit in nice and easy, but I haven't got a still saw and you can only work with what you were born with. So I'm going to get some mortar laid down and we'll start bricking this up. I pinched this insulation out of the loft, and that's because it'll all be going in the skip when we get round to removing the roof. Once this was in, I began laying a mortar bed for the new blocks. And if I had a still saw, I could have cut the opening bigger to avoid having to shave a little bit off each block. I'll leave a link in the description for all the tools I'm using as well. With the first course done, I added the next 2 courses. Then it was time to fill any gaps with leftover mortar. Now that's bricked up, we need to cut a hole in the ceiling for where the flue's going to go through, but the size has got to be pretty much perfect because there is a fire plate that needs to go in, and it's about 400mm by 400mm. So we're just going to go from where the centre of the fireplace is, and we know that is roughly there. I'm going to put a line on the wall at the top once this is level. I can see that there. And then I know now that if I cut around there, this should be where the flue can pass through up into the bedroom. So to cut that hole, I'm going to use a multi-tool. If you haven't got a multi-tool, you can use a pad saw and do it by hand. But I'm going to go for speed. It is a little bit noisy, but we'll get that hole cut now. Right, okay, we need to go this way a little bit so we can fit the fire plate between the two joists. It does mean the flue is going to be slightly off centre, but that'll be behind the chimney breast. So we're going to bring the flue down this way and we can kick it over there with the 45 to go central into the fireplace. So because of where the joist falls, we've had to move the flue over to the front window, which means it's not coming down in a central position. And I did want the log burner to be in the middle of the room. Because the distance is only moved so slightly, we cannot fit the twin line flue 45 to send it over. So I've bought a pipe that comes off the log burner with a little 45 inset, and this is the adapter that goes into the twin line flue. Now what you'll do, I've had to work this out by the way, and you'll have to do the same. That is where the centre of the twin line flue comes down, and this is where the centre of the log burner will be. Now there'll be a check plate here and an opening, which you won't see where this shoots off to one side, because it'll look good if it was straight, but to one side it'll look a bit daft. So that will end up lining up there. Obviously it won't be tight against the wall, but you can see how it shoots off and centres it up with the twin line flue, which will then go out through the roof. So all in all, quite good. Don't worry, I won't be fitting the flue, I'm only using its parts to work out where everything will fall. Now the base frame is pretty much up for the tin studs, we're going to start dropping the battens down. And we're going to cut them with tin snips and just self-tapping screw them together, and then obviously we've got to form the opening. So this is formed out of C-track and studs, and it has to be metal because it's got to be non-combustible. If you build this out of timber, you simply will not get it signed off, and it poses a massive fire risk. We've got our little return there, same over there, and we've got our cross piece at the top. I've just got to put two little stabs there to carry the end ones, and then we should be good to go. I actually ended up moving all this around as I didn't want the chimney breast being too big in the living room. I also couldn't leave it overlapping the fireplate. Now to cut the metal stud, I'm using tin snips. It's noise free and a lot quicker than using a grinder. Once they're cut, you just slide them into the channels and secure them with self-tapping screws at the top and bottom. A little tip, when planning where to run your flue, you're only allowed 4 bends in it from the burner up to the top of the chimney outside. This is to maintain sufficient draw. Then my sister's boyfriend came round to help install the chimney through the roof. I'll explain this more in a second. Chimney fitting, getting the log burner ready for Christmas, which means I can burn all the wood off those trees I chopped down. It's probably not dry yet, but I'm going to give it a go. Worst case, I'll probably end up buying logs, but still better than burning gas. So, to add a bit of context, quite a lot of time has passed since that was filmed, and that was because there was a big rush to get this fireplace installed before Christmas. But what we've done is we have now cement boarded the chimney breast, we've plasterboarded it, and all that needs to happen now is the angle beads need to go on and it needs skimming. But that's not going to happen for quite a while because this house needs rewiring. So this room is going to have multiple chases on it, those doors are getting bricked up, and this door into the living room is going to move. So it's pointless getting it skimmed now. Like I said at the start of this video, there are two ways you can go about this. You can either install it yourself and go through building control and get them to check everything. The other way is to get a HETAS approved installer to come and install the log burner, and that is basically what we did. So the reason we fitted the flue through the loft was because the log burner installer said we would need to get a scaffold, and my sister's boyfriend is a roofer, and he said, well, if we get the flue through the roof and we take photos of it and check it all and you be there while we do it, are you happy to connect everything up down through the house and to the log burner? And he said yeah, and it just saved getting a scaffold, it saved him having to work from height, and it just made his life a lot easier. I'll spin the camera around now and I'll explain a little bit more in detail what we've actually built here. The burner is DEFRA approved, and that means it is a approved one and we can burn multi-fuels on it. We just can't burn illegal fuels like real coal. So we can burn smokeless coal and obviously logs, they can't be wet. I've then tiled round the back over that brickwork, as you can see. We've had a metal check plate installed underneath there, and that's literally just to stop heat going up the chimney and escaping, and it's also if a fire ever breaks out, it stops it spreading up through the false chimney breast. Now these flagstones, yes they are flagstones, they're porcelain, these were left over from Wales, and I was going to get a full solid piece of slate, but the issue is it was £350. So these flags, by the time I bought a bit of a tile adhesive and hardy backer board to go on top of the wood, it cost me about 50 quid to put those down. Now we just need to put an oak hearth on there, obviously get it plastered, and we're all good. You do need to have carbon monoxide and smoke alarms in the living room, and the reason that it is on this side of the chimney breast is because in the event of smoke evaporation and things going wrong, the smoke will come up and it'll go round the chimney breast and go into the tight areas of the loft. So that's got to stay there. It's a bit unpretty. It is just to comply with building regulations, but I'm not going to lie, a lot of people do remove them. I wouldn't advise it though, because it's potentially a life safety device. We have put another one, I've gone the extra mile with this, and this is just for my own well-being. If we come upstairs round the horrible carpet on the stairs, I went a little bit further and I decided to put one up there as well, and that's just if there's ever a leak on the flue, it comes into the bedroom. Until it's boxed in, obviously we'll be alarmed. Touch wood, that hasn't happened. Now this is where the flue comes through the bedroom and goes outside, and as you can see it transitions from stainless steel to black enamel, and that is just literally to keep the cost down, because the stainless steel stuff is a lot cheaper than the black enamel. It adds about £23 a metre on, but each length you buy comes with a locking band, and it's absolutely idiot proof to install. You literally slot each item into each other, click the locking ram bound, and you tighten it up with an Allen key. But if you do it too tight, it snaps the locking band. But this isn't always going to be on show, because what's going to happen is this whole roof has got to come off, and as you can see, this is just a temporary thing that we've done. Curtains, all this is just knackered. So anyway, this roof comes off, this whole dormer moves over that way, and that actually ends up being boxed in and you won't see it. So that'll all be replaced, and obviously there's a wind restraint strap behind here. We've got the cowling on the flashing kit, and that will have to come off when the roof is replaced. So this is just temporary while it's all in. Obviously it's to keep us warm as well in the winter, but it will change in the future. And just showing you the landing, which is here, this will all change as well. This wall gets completely taken out. There's a glass banister going across there. I think this room's full of rubbish as well. The floor will be removed and you'll be able to look down at the front door. And then where that window is, that gets smashed out, the landing carries on, and there'll be 2 bedrooms either side over there. And then all this gets configured, these walls come down, and the dormer gets built on the back. And we're just waiting for the final stages of planning permission to come through, and I'm going to do a full video about the plans very soon. So if you are interested, drop a comment below just saying show me your plans, because if it gets approved, we've had an absolute nightmare with it. The council have just been like, nope, you can't do this, change that. We've gone back with loads of substantiation. We've argued that other neighbours have done it, and why can't we do it? And they were just being awkward basically. But if we get this agreed, this house will certainly look like Duckingham Palace, which is what we decided to name it. There's a lot of work to do, there's a lot of money to spend on it, money that we don't have. It's going to be a slow process, and I estimate it's probably going to take me 5 years. So if you're interested in the journey of this channel, make sure you lock in, because it'll be raw vlog content like this to show you what we're doing renovating this house. Anyway, make sure you like and subscribe, drop us a comment below, and if there's the option there to hype, do that as well, because it motivates me to make more content like this for your lazy Sundays. Make sure you do everything in style, and I'll see you very soon.